long time. I know. So, a little update. I got a job, woo! So, my schedule is going to be sporadic. I'm going to try to do a mass recording every time I get a chance so I can get some leeway with my videos. And so you guys can have at least 2 a week. I'm going to be doing a 5-part series. It's just going to be a small series. 5-part series. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. I won't be able to hop in on the premieres, unlike my other ones, because I'm going to probably be getting ready for work when these are airing. So hopefully you guys enjoy. And you guys could wish me luck in my job, because I'm still in the first week. Once it hits Saturday, I'm done with the first week. On to the second. But that's what has been going on in my life. What else? Oh. I'm gonna continue the Isekai series and the Bound by Blood. But Shiro Senpai, the great YouTuber that she is, helped me, and I wanted to... I've made this before, but that was me personally, Alexander. I'm only saying my first name, even though I'd love to say my last name on so you guys can know who I am and every weird thing that has happened in my life, but I'm not going to. A little bit of animosity, anonymity, whatever, is good for everybody. My name is Alexander, just for you guys to know. But this is not going to be what if I was in My Hero. This is going to be what if the Unsmooth Criminal was in My Hero. I know you guys are probably going to be like, but you guys are the same people. No, we are not. What if I was in My Hero is the video game loving, anime watching guy who jokes around with everybody he knows. No matter who it is, he messes around in some way. What if the Unsmooth Criminal was in My Hero is a different person? The imaginative, intellectually thinking, smart, Unsmooth Criminal is what is going to be happening. So, I'm going to do a little bit of world building. It's a mix between Bleach, My Hero, and Skyrim. And you'll know what I mean in a second. So the gods and deities of Skyrim are in this world. The strength progression for abilities are in this world. But it's mainly the My Hero world. And everybody at birth gets assigned a class. Hunter, mage, blacksmith. Everybody gets assigned a class. And that basically just describes what they go on in life. Some people are assigned no class. Or classless. And that's where One for All comes into play. One for All is a hand down or transferable class hero. And classes are quirks in this one. And 2 people, you could see Alexis, the main character. And yes, I'm doing Alexis, not Criminal or the Unsmooth Criminal, because it's just too big of a name. Alexis. That's what she's going to look like. This man, and yes, there are demi-humans and normal humans and monsters. So killing is completely normal for heroes. And yes, they're still heroes. They're more a mercenary group paid by the government. So killing is completely allowed. Now, how people increase their ability strength is killing and soul manipulation. If you guys know what cultivating is, you'll know what kind of soul manipulation I'm talking about. So, the deities from Skyrim, mainly the Daedra, not the Aedra, the Daedra. So the princes of darkness. Well, princes and princesses, they're trans. They switch between male and female all the time, so there's really nothing. Are in this world. There's never been an incident where someone was born with question marks for their class, because everybody can find it out easily because they have identification classes that specialize in doing this. But this little girl was born with question marks in their class column. She was classified as classless because she had no skills. All the way up till she was 7. When she found a rusty mace on the ground. And if you guys have played Skyrim at all, you'll know what that rusty mace is, especially if you've done the House of Horror quest from Skyrim. Fucking best quest ever. So, she found this rusty mace, she picked it up, and she heard a voice. And this voice was deep and demonic and wanted her to do something. Child, go and dominate. That's all it said. That's all it said. It said nothing else except for that over and over and over. She dropped it and stopped hearing the voice. When she picked up that mallet or hammer, whatever, or mace, whatever you want to call it, her class got unlocked. Her class was the one who stole from God. That's her class's title. But really, her class is thief. If you guys know the story of the Gray Fox and the Cowl of Nocturnal, you'll understand what I'm going for. That's only for Elder Scrolls fans that would know that. Let me see if I can put a link in the description to Fudge Muppets and Camelworks. Freaking great people. You guys should go check them out if you ever want a Skyrim or Oblivion lores and Morrowind lores and ESO, Elder Scrolls Online lore. Great YouTubers. So, her class's title, and it's still question mark to anybody who looks at her, because she hasn't fully unlocked it. So she picks up the mace and puts it in a backpack that she had on her. And yes, this is the same kind of thing as in My Hero. Same kind of universe. Highly advanced. People use soul power to do everything, though. So it's more like the Soul Society for Bleach. And yes, everybody's allowed to use their class whenever the hell they want. But only when they're working. If they're in civilian mode, which is just walking around, they have to turn off their class. And yes, villains still run around. So, she walks down this alley because she's going home. And she's going to where she lives. She's lived here for 4 years now, and she's hated it ever since. She walks into her home and lays down on the ground. Well, not really on the ground. On her floor. Curls up in a ball. Uses her fluffy tail and hair as a blanket. And falls asleep. The next day, she looks out of her home and sees some guys walking down the alley. And she starts to tremble in fear because this has happened multiple times in 3 years that she's lived here. Random people walk down the alley and just start beating the crap out of her because her home is a fucking cardboard box. And since she's classless, no one sees how powerful she's going to be. So they walk up to her and they start introducing themselves. They introduce themselves as the Magi, and that they want to help her if she's willing to do some favors for them. And the leader, who's currently saying this, is grinning like a madman. And he's giving her a devilish smile. A very, very bad devilish smile that you should never give to a 7-year-old. So, since these men are stronger and bigger, they take advantage of her easily. And after they're done messing with her, very, very, very wrong way, they literally raped her, by the way. Very, very wrong. Bad. She's stripped down to nothing. She grabs her pretty much torn up backpack, pulls out the mace, and starts beating the crap out of them. She just grabbed it and started beating them viciously. And this entire time, every time she hits them, blood comes out and the mace starts drinking it. No, it is not a vampiric mace. It won't be a vampiric mace. Every time it gets more and more blood, it starts shining brighter and brighter because it's getting its luster back. No, but I am giving her the ebony blade, by the way. I'm giving her the Cowl of Nocturnal, the Mace of Molech Bal, and the ebony blade. Just saying. So she's done beating them to death. And by the time one of them was beat to death, the entire mace was shining silver again. Its skulls were appearing. And when she finally hit the last two to death, the mace gave her this energy. And it just gave her so much energy that she promptly passed out. And when she passed out, the mace just disappeared. And now she's in her mind with countless figures around her. Most of them are in the background, the Aedra, that can't do anything. One of them is in front, that is switching between a humanoid and a dragon form constantly. And the rest of them are just blurs in the humanoid form. And one of them shows up, and he's in his full demonic form. He's got multiple arms, he's got his mace, he's got a few other torture devices. He walks up, and he gives this massive malicious grin and says, The thief has struck again. And he looks at one of the shadowy figures and says, wonder when your cow's coming. And this shadowy figure just does one thing, and the guy in front of her, or with multiple arms, a lot of torture devices on him that are used to torture other people, starts laughing maniacally. And he sits down and says, you can have it. You restored it to its full glory. You can steal it. I don't care. You can have it. So, after she wakes up, she's like, what the hell was that? And she doesn't see the mace anywhere until she grabs right in front of her and she pulls it out of thin air. Like, what the hell? A hero named Aizawa. His class is Seer. And I'll tell you why. He's a specific brand of Seer. And his eyes can stop the effects of classes, except for one. Well, two actually. Now it's two. But he can stop the effect of classes. Let's go to a few minutes earlier. He heard screaming on the radio from one of the cops. The crooked cops that he's been keeping an eye on. He put a bug on them. So he heard screaming from what sounded like a little girl. And the screaming stopped. And then the guy that he was supposed to be following started screaming. And the sound of people getting smacked upside the head with a blunt object is played over the radio. And just hearing this audio allows him to see stuff. So he sees this gnarly looking mace in a little girl's hand, and she's viciously beating the crap out of him. The one that he's supposed to be tailing. And his abilities are going to slowly come out of how powerful he is. He's super powerful. So he finally is like, I gotta go. And she just woke up as she grabbed the mace out of thin air. And Aizawa saw that. He's like, what the hell's going on? Only high-level classes can grab weapons out of thin air. And they're normally made from people's souls. Like snipes. Or midnights. Or even mine with my scarf. And he finally gets down there and she sees him and starts freaking the fuck out, whatever you want to say. And finally, he walks backwards very slowly and has his hands up because she's having a panic attack currently. And he sits down and he puts his hands behind his back and he starts trying to talk with her. And she's belligerent right now, saying that everybody wants to hurt her, nobody likes her, including him. He's just going to hate her. And finally, he gets the chance to use his class's abilities and sees her skills and her class's title, the one that steals from gods. And he sees this and he immediately goes, okay, I'm going to grab something because I need to talk to somebody. I'm only going to talk to them over there. I am not calling anybody to harm you. And he looks behind her and he sees a cardboard box. And he goes, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm just going to go talk to somebody. And I'll be right back. So he leaves the alley very slowly, very calmly, to not activate a panic attack from her again, because she is freaking out, but slowly calming down. So he gets out, and he runs around the corner after she can't see him, and calls up Naomasa and Nezu. Nezu is a humanoid, and his class is knower. That's literally what his class is. He knows pretty much everything. He can think of whatever he wants. So Aizawa calls them both up, and Naomasa has the class detective. Duh. He's a really good detective. One of the best. And he gets Nezu on the phone, and he says, hold on, Naomasa's picking up. Naomasa picks up, and they're all on the phone. Naomasa's like, what's going on? And Nezu goes, I don't know, but this is a conference call, so we must keep this between us. That's it. And Naomasa goes, okay. So he walks into a secret private room that he has for private calls. And he records the call for himself. And a quick side note for his classes, he can easily decode codes and keep keys to codes in his head very easily. Naomasa, with his class, because he has photographic memory as one of his perks. So he records the call, and they're speaking in code the entire time. Nezu knows this code. Aizawa can see through this code to what they're trying to allude at, literally. And Naomasa can decipher this code very quickly. They're speaking in code this entire time because everybody is tapped into on their phones by the government. No matter who it is, they're tapped into it. And Nezu knows this, Naomasa knows this, and sadly, Aizawa knows this. And they can't do anything about it yet, because the government's spooked by something, and they're trying to find something. So finally, Aizawa comes out and says it. The girl's class is the one who stole from God. And Naomasa hangs up. Grabs his coat, stops the recording, and runs. He runs to his car and he drives up. And he says, don't say anything else. He grabs Aizawa by the collar, throws him in his car, says, stay, grabs a dart gun. And he has used this before to help with capturing of villains who have very severe panic attacks when they're almost caught, because they can lose control of their classes and abilities. And he walks just around the corner, just barely for her to see him, and he shoots a dart. The dart hits her, and she slowly passes out, and she calms down. And he finally walks up to her, and he picks her up. She's too light for her age range, because he can see that she's malnourished, dehydrated, exhausted, and running on pretty much nothing. And it looks like she's been like this for months. So he throws her in the back of the car and he drives over to UA. And yes, UA's in Japan. So he drives over to UA and he gets out of the car. He picks her up. He takes her to Recovery Girl. And Recovery Girl's class is healer. And she's a very special healer because no matter what wound it is, she can heal. And no healer ever can heal a lost limb. That's an added thing about classes. They can't recover lost limbs. Except for Alexis. She will be able to later. Now, Alexis is barely holding on to consciousness because she does not want to see them again. She does not want to see the shadowy figures because she's frightened from them. Mainly the guy with the chain, the leather gear in his hand, and the mace. She's frightened from that. So, when she gets into Recover Girl's office, he grabs an injection and injects her again, which completely knocks her out. But she's not in the same location. She's in a different location. She's in a weird world. It's pretty much night the entire time. And she's just walking around and she sees this hood. And she picks it up and she puts it on. And this angry voice just radiates through the entire area saying, "It is taken." And it's just pissed off sounding. It's a pissed off female sounding voice. And she wakes up, and Recover Girl, who's just healing her, is like, "Wait, where? What?" And is just completely confused. Now Masa, with his photographic memory, does not get affected. But Aizawa, forgetting why he's there, Nezu forgetting why they're coming, and now Masa's like, whoa. What just happened? And Izumi's cowl, and no, it's not going to be like a Batman cowl where it's over the full head. It's just going to be a hood. She takes the hood off because it's now a full cloak. And Recover Girl is like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing. And starts healing her again. Recover Girl finally, he finishes up, and Izumi's not having a panic, or not Izumi. Damn it, Alexis is not having a panic attack anymore. But she's still freaking out slightly. Because she doesn't know where she is. So, Recover Girl finally gets up, grabs a smushed up meal, because patients have to eat up things smushed up if they don't have enough energy. And she gives it to Izumi. Izumi immediately starts eating no matter what it is, because she hasn't eaten in a few weeks. So, I know the launch is done. I kind of guessed it. I'm gonna have to finish this up in a few seconds, even though, yeah, I know it's gonna be a little shorter, but I'm gonna be doing longer parts for the main events. So, we go to a day later. Izumi wakes up again because she was so tired. She had an IV put in her, and she has a vitamin bag also put in her. If you guys don't know what a vitamin bag, it's attached to your IV drip. I think it's attached. It may also be put in your IV. But it's vitamins that are directly injected into your bloodstream. Vitamins and nutrients that are directly injected, so you don't have to ingest them normally by eating them. So, she wakes up, and Recovery Girl is watching over her, and she calls up Naomasa and says she's awake. Naomasa, understanding what's going on, runs over to UA as fast as possible, walks in, and starts crying happy tears. Because they looked at the video camera footage, and they couldn't remember who it was that they saw. And that's the FBI of Japan, the government agencies of Japan, were looking for her. And he says, whatever the hell you did, thank you. You just saved yourself from a world of pain. And he's crying happy tears because he doesn't have to deal with the government trying to find her because they don't remember what they're looking for at all. They just know they're looking for something. So he finally gets out of his weird crying thing, and he finally walks up to her and says, "My name is Naomasa, and I will be taking care of you. So no more going to that cardboard box. You are coming to my house, and you are living there with me. I'm taking care of you." And when he says, "with me," she starts freaking out again. And he goes, "Oh, crap. Whatever." He just brings something out of his pocket and puts it in front of her. And it has a very weird scent to her. And she slowly starts to calm down. And Recover Girl sees this and asks what the hell that is. And he goes, "Well, this is a relaxant for demi-humans. And since most people nowadays have some kind of demi-human, it works on most people. But since I'm still pure-blood human, sadly, but fortunately I'm still pure-blood human, I have absolutely no effect with this. So I could use it however the hell I want, any day of the week. Has a sweet scent, too." And Recover Girl, also being pure-blood human, because she's one of the older generation, sees this and goes, "Oh, cool." And Izumi is almost in like a drunken state because of this relaxant, this incense. And after a few hours, they finally get to Naomasa's house. And it's in the middle of nowhere. Naomasa puts her in a room and says, "This is going to be your room. I will not come in this room unless you call me into it." And he lays out ground rules for him being in this room. And he says, "Anything in this room I cannot touch unless you allow me to. And anything outside the room is you could touch whenever, for however long you want. But if it's something that I use regularly, it cannot be out of place for more than 10 minutes. And she slowly nods because she's understanding all this. Her perk of being a thief is her memory's really good, but not photographic like Naomasa's. So he lays out ground rules. She understands. And finally, he sits down and says, "One quick question. Who are your parents?" He didn't say where. He didn't say what happened to your parents. He says, "Who?" And she says her last name, which I don't know one, so I probably won't have one for the 5 videos that's going to happen today. But, yeah. Maybe 3, and then Sunday I'm doing 5. Maybe. If I don't record 5, tell me in the comments. Okay? But I'm going to have to end it here. My throat's really dry. I gotta get some water. Otherwise I won't be able to speak very well later. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you guys later.